Jack the Ripper, the Zodiac, Lizzie Borden, John Bonet Ramsey, Ted Bundy, O.J. Simpson. Why do these cases, some solved and some still a mystery to us even today, continue to fascinate us, to haunt us? These cases present elements that become fantastical in the eyes of those who watch them unravel on TV and through the media they receive. Unfortunately, these same elements that cause them to be etched in our minds also cause these stories to become romanticized in media and in history. So many of these cases are mixed with elements of fiction that it becomes hard to tell just how things really went on. Through various sciences and researches, we've discovered the truths behind many mysteries like this, though thousands remain, like these, unsolved. One of these sciences that I would like to speak about today is the science of criminal profiling, the science of looking at a crime, the MO, and signature, and building a profile that suits the type of person that would have been able to commit these crimes. It is the closest you can get to solving cold cases and unsolved mysteries. In the cases of mysteries already solved, such a science is still useful for solidifying and creating profiles of these criminals. It's a psychologically heavy science, but one that requires many of the same faculties that deduction itself does. Be warned though, it's a science not for the faint of heart. Deduction will only prove to assist in following this field of study, and the reverse is also true. Learning to profile can only improve on your deductive abilities, creating a new facet for you to work with. Either way, you will learn something new with this field of study. However, this is a science that I am no specialist in. My studies in this field are far from complete. So to further expound on this subject, I would like to introduce you to a friend of mine who can explain this far more accurately than I can, in the case of the red-headed strangler.
Hello, I am Greyhound Deduction. I am a deductionist, or reductionist if you will, that focuses more on using deduction as a tool in psychological profiling. Today I will be sharing my profile of the redhead killer, so let's begin. First of all, to give a brief synopsis of the redhead killer, he was an active serial killer between the years 1978 to 1992. He is also known as the Bible Belt Strangler. He was known to be active in the states Tennessee, Arkansas, Kentucky, Mississippi, Pennsylvania, and West Virginia. This particular serial murderer is known for strangling anywhere from 6 to 11 women, all of which were theoretically redheads. However, we've already made our first mistake in any serial killer investigation, and that is giving the killer a name. You see, my friends, by giving a serial killer a name such as the Bible Belt Strangler or the Redhead Killer, we are making an assumption in our heads about the type of victim he will go after and his kill method, and any sophisticated serial killer who can at least moderately keep his impulses in check will realize he must change his MO and the victim he goes after in order to evade detection. For the remainder of the video, I am going to refer to this killer as the unsub or unknown subject. Although this term has been popularized by the media, it is a true criminology term and will come into play here and in other investigations. Now, let's get into the victims. Our first victim is a Jane Doe that was found in Wetzel County between the ages of 40 and 45. Cause of death was strangulation. She was found on February 13th, 1983, and is thought to have died on February 11th, 1983. Our second victim is Lisa Nicholas, age 28. Cause of death was also strangulation. She was found on September 16th, 1984, and it is unknown when she died. Our third victim is Tina Farmer, age 21. Cause of death is again strangulation. It is unknown when she died, but she was found on January 1st, 1985. Our third and quite possibly our most important victim is the victim that was found in Campbell County. Her age is estimated to be, sadly, anywhere from 9 to 15. She was found on April 3rd, 1985. It's unknown when she died, however, it's estimated she could have died as far back as 1981. Our fifth victim, which there is sadly no image for, is the Cheatham County victim. She was anywhere from 31 to 40. She was found on March 31st, 1985, and is thought to have died anywhere from October 31st, 1984 to 2 months ahead of that. Cause of death, as with all these victims, was of course strangulation. Victim number 6 is Elsie Pilgrim. She was 35 when she died. She is thought to have died on March 28, 1984, and was found on April 1st, 1985. Cause of death, as with all of these victims, was strangulation. Our 7th and final victim is Elizabeth Lamott, age 17. She was found on April 14th, 1985. Now that we have discussed all of this, we can get into the profile. This particular unsub seems to have a fairly textbook profile as far as serial stranglers go. This man feels the need to have control over the situation. He has to feel the life leave the body. This probably stems from a lack of control in his work or personal life. Given the unsub's clear lack of caring for women, he was most likely abused by a mother or sister when he was a child. In the beginning, it would seem to me that he felt at least some remorse for what he was doing because he left the bodies fully clothed. However, as time went on, he began to enjoy this more, therefore his remorse waned. This suggests to me that the first murder was most likely an accident or simultaneous and not planned. This man is most likely handsome and charismatic. As strange as it might sound, a serial killer who abducts women off of a highway has to at least look trustworthy. A man with a physical deformity would have an incredibly difficult time getting women to follow him, as would he if his personality was antisocial, so he would have to, at least on the outside, appear approachable. There are 3 possible outcomes as to why he was never caught. 1. He died. 2. He was arrested on another crime. 3. He switched his MO and continued killing. Now, to summarize his profile, I would say at the time of the killings, the police would have been looking for a weaker man in his late 30s to early 40s, most likely driving a large, unintimidating vehicle. People in his life would be shocked to learn who he is. However, it is unlikely he has anyone in his life that he is close to. I would also say it's highly likely that he himself is a redhead. This man has low self-esteem, takes little to no pride in his work, and feels emasculated constantly. It is unlikely that he had any political motive for his crimes, and is a need-driven offender. It is also highly likely that he knew the Campbell County victim very well, and that this was actually the first murder. And furthermore, he is most likely a traveling salesman or a truck driver. The next part I am going to discuss is actually just my own personal research I did after I got into the profile of this killer. I was highly bothered by the fact that he had such a young victim, and I wanted to attempt to identify her. So I scoured the National Missing Children's database, factoring in the fact that the only states that he's known to have killed in are Tennessee, Arkansas, Kentucky, Mississippi, Pennsylvania, and West Virginia. Then I put in the fact that the girl would have had to have gone missing between the years of 1981 and 1984, and couldn't have been more than 15 years old, or at least that's the knowledge I found. So this was the facial approximation of the missing child, and this is Anne Gottlieb. I admit I could have said that wrong, but anyway, she went missing on June 1st, 1983 from Louisville, Kentucky, and this is classified as a non-family abduction. She would have been 12 years old at the time, which actually does fit in with the approximate age of the child. Not only does she fit the facial approximation, she is also a redhead, which while it is not smart to jump to conclusions, given the fact that every single other victim was a redhead, I am going to say that is one more piece of compelling evidence. This video wasn't all that easy to make because I'm working with a MacBook that's 12 years old, so I'm working with a really old version of iMovie, so if the sound levels seem a little off, it's probably why. I do have to give a very big thank you to Practical Deduction. I wasn't entirely sure I was actually going to make this channel, but he spurred me on, and is the reason I actually got it done. So yeah, really big thanks to him. This has been my first video, I hope you liked it.